There he is on MSNBC, the guy that voted to fund or allow the funding of drag queens at the Pentagon. He's a real fighter, trying to get a job, and he will, on one of these networks. But why would you not give him a job if you're on MSNBC and CNN? You want him to do maximum damage before you hire him, right? They're holding a carrot in front of his face. Ken Buck was a prosecutor in Colorado. He was quite conservative. He ran for the Senate, came on my program. Of course, we supported him. He was a Tea Party conservative. He ran for Congress as a Tea Party conservative. And Ken Buck has decided he's tired of running back and forth from Colorado to Washington. So here we have this guy who is making his bones to get hired by one of these liberal platforms. And what is he doing? He's been trashing Trump. He goes on CNN as really the only House Republican, or certainly among very few, and he's saying there's not enough information to even have an impeachment inquiry. So they keep inviting him back over and over and over again to come on these shows. So here he is on with Jen Psaki, the serial liar for Joe Biden. Would you even go on that show? Of course not. It'd be humiliating. He's on that show. And what does he do on this show? Go.
I want to ask you about Donald Trump, because he was in a Manhattan courtroom today for his New York fraud trial. You previously said you would not support a convicted felon for the White House, something we coined the Ken Buck rule here. I don't know if you like that or not. But
say that? Sick. He's happy as a duck. Look at this. He's smiling cheek to cheek. The Ken Buck rule. This is the dirty truth, what's going on. I've been telling you this from the beginning. This D.C. judge, Chutkan, she jumps the line to bring her case in before the guy in New York and before the judge in Florida. She was third in line on the criminal docket. She jumps to be the first in line. She calls the judge in New York. He agrees, you go first. She doesn't apparently call the judge in Florida. She just moves up the trial date 2 months before the judge in Florida had the trial date. This is pernicious. She gives Trump's lawyers 5 months to prepare for a massive case based on documents and other things. They've already said it's a Fifth and Sixth Amendment violation, due process on the Fifth, ineffective representation of counsel on the Sixth because they have so much to do. And she says, you do it. You'll be able to do it. And it's the day before Super Tuesday where they get the president all clogged up in court. Now, why is this? They said it would be 4 to 6 weeks, 8 weeks at the most, the prosecution says. Judge says, okay. They want him found guilty of at least one charge by a Democrat Washington, D.C. jury. They'll get their wish. By a judge who's a pretend judge and a prosecutor who's a maniac. Backed by an attorney general who's a serial liar, as he was when he was on 60 Minutes. So Donald Trump will have, this is what they want. He'll have to walk around, campaign, carry that sign, convicted felon. They only need one charge. That's why Psaki's bringing it up. She is evil. She's evil. But she's putting it to this guy, and look at his smile, because they know how to play these stupid Republicans. And she's putting it to this guy. We have around here what we call the Ken Buck rule. Oh, yeah. They walk around MSNBC, the Ken Buck rule. Who's he? We understand, Jen, what you're up to. Okay, the Ken Buck rule. You'll never vote for a man who's convicted of a crime for president. What a moron, a jackass, a quisling, a buffoon. And this guy, just so you know more about him, there was an amendment to a spending bill proposed by Chip Roy that would prohibit the federal government from spending 1 penny for drag queens at the Department of Defense. Not a penny. He voted against that amendment, as did Nancy Mace, who's a complete spaghetti head. He voted against the amendment. But he's one of the 5 who said we need to cut spending and shut down the government. Excuse me? There was a proposal to cut spending by 30%. 30%. And morons like him said, no, it's not, we're shutting down the government. We need to teach America. You're going to do what? And secure the border. No, I can't do that. And there he is on MSNBC, the guy that voted to fund or allow the funding of drag queens at the Pentagon. He's a real fighter. Trying to get a job, and he will, on one of these networks. But why would you not give him a job if you're on MSNBC and CNN? You want him to do maximum damage before you hire him, right? They're holding a carrot in front of his face. He knows he needs to perform, and that's what he's doing. So here he is in mid-smile. I can't even stand looking at him anymore. Go ahead.
The judge in this case has already found that he committed fraud. It's just a matter of how much he's going to pay.
Okay, so there you go. There you go. That's why they bring these cases. The judge already found his fraud. And so what should Ken Buck say in response to that? Say, why are you lying to the American people about what's actually taking place and spinning this? The judge found he committed fraud. Fraud for what? Go.
Should that disqualify him from serving as president?
Okay, first of all, that's a civil case. Sometimes this crap is so frustrating, it's not even funny. It's just so frustrating. Go ahead.
I don't know that a fraud case, a civil fraud case by itself does. I was talking about a criminal case.
Oh.
I do think that people need to look at the behavior of Donald Trump in determining whether he is the best candidate for president. I also think they need to look at the behavior of Hunter Biden to determine whether Joe Biden is the best candidate for president. But I think that overall, the criminal trials are going to be much more significant in people's minds than the civil fraud trial.
Well, there's significant differences between the two, but I do want to ask you before I let you go.
Listen, but, you know, we're not going to let facts get in our way here, so you didn't answer that properly. You may not get a job, but just let's move on. Go ahead.
The threats that we've heard from Donald Trump, because the rhetoric and the language we've heard in the courtroom today, but also we've heard...
Now you know why this is a, not top rated, a highly rated show on MSNBC. The threat that you've heard from Donald Trump in the courtroom. About the courtroom, about the judge. Yes, the threat. Okay, you're facing 91 charges. All Democrat prosecutors. They're coming at you every day. You wake up and you don't know what the hell's going to hit you. Non-disclosure agreements with Bragg. Fraud trial here. RICO case, another DA, county, Fulton County. Documents case, which is an absurdity. You could go to prison for life. That one's now in Florida. January 6th case where you didn't commit insurrection or sedition or the Use of Klan Act. Donald Trump, his criticisms of the courts and the judges and the witnesses and the process, shouldn't he be hammered for that? Can you believe he's threatening people? That he's lashing out on Truth Social? I mean, goodness gracious. Go ahead.
From him out on the campaign trail, we know that it's dangerous. The threats are increasing. What do you say to that?
I was a prosecutor 25 years, Jen. I take the threats very seriously. And I think that if you're innocent, you act like you're innocent.
All right, stop. To me, Trump's acting like he's innocent. He's defending himself. He's running for president. He has passion. He's like any other human being that would be facing something like this. To me, he's acting 100% like he's innocent. He's not hiding behind his lawyers. In some ways, in this regard, I'm reminded of Alan Dershowitz. When Dershowitz is charged, I don't mean criminally, but charged with doing this, that, or the other, whether it's with a girl at Epstein's place or whatever, he fights like hell and he fights back. I do too. I want you to put this and personalize it, put it in your own context. If somebody accused you of a crime that you didn't commit, or they accuse you of rape that you didn't commit, or they accuse you of espionage that you didn't commit, or they accuse you through the back door of insurrection and sedition without bringing the charges directly using a Ku Klux Klan Act, you're going broke having to pay your lawyers? It's interfering not only with your business, which they're trying to destroy and take from you, it's interfering with your run for president of the United States, and the people who are bringing it are all elected Democrats but one who works for an elected Democrat. What would you do? I'm innocent, so I'm not speaking. I'm not going to say a word, no. Look at the sentencing potential here. You'd serve 25 life terms. No, I'm innocent. Honey, I'm innocent. I can't talk about the rape battle. I'm sorry, honey. No. Kids, I'm sorry. You're going to lose everything. I can't. You'd fight like hell. Doesn't this guy come off as creepy to you? He's coming off as creepy to me.
Want to see more Mark Levin? Go to levintv.com and subscribe now.